5, 4, 3, 2.
It's the main word brought to you by With the Podcast. It's free stories. It's Asia.
It's a Tati.
Asia is going to lead the conversation today. Looking forward to that.
So, for the main word, I came across.
Just wait,
ladies. I came across a meme. I don't even know if this is considered a meme.
I don't know what's considered a meme anymore. Words on the screen with a picture.
It's a post. So you know you do that thing on Instagram.
Yeah, it is a post. Thank you so much for knowing words. That's some JM kid with the words back there.
So, it says, is it wrong that I broke up with my boyfriend to finish school, and now that I'm done, I want a whole new boyfriend? And I just wanted to talk about, like, leaving toxic relationships, because I mean, it don't have to be this, but the only reason I can fathom myself leaving like a relationship while I'm in school is just because I need to focus. So obviously that means that relationship is like hindering me in some type of way or holding me back in some shape or form. So
yeah,
you're the person.
I was gonna ask you why you equated that to a toxic relationship. But I see why you equate that to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I see why you do.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
I didn't read it as such though.
What did you read it
I
as?
just read it as like, I don't have time for a boyfriend right now, so we're not going to be together. And the plan is for us to get back together. But now that I've graduated, I don't want the same boyfriend anymore.
Yeah, that's how I look at it the same way as like people that I know that like people that are in relationships and they get engaged and then they be like, but we're not going to get married till we graduate, till we get out of college or something. Like I looked at it that same way, like her being like, yeah, I totally love you, you're who I want in the long run, but let's just enjoy ourselves, not put any pressure on ourselves right now, and then meet back up in 4 years.
And I feel like the only reason I kind of felt like it was something wrong with the relationship was because she said she wanted a new boyfriend. Like, you know, like you left it because you couldn't focus on like the relationship. And then now that you have time to devote to a relationship again, you want a whole new boyfriend. So, like, what was that boyfriend doing wrong or lacking that you feel like you would find in a new partner?
I think that was the reason why I didn't.
Right, which is also like.
Well, she probably changed.
That doesn't mean toxic.
Yeah, I didn't
know. Well, I don't, and I'm not saying that specifically was toxic. I'm talking about in general leaving toxic relationships.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but for that specifically, I thought that the whole premise of her asking the question is what made me feel like it wasn't a toxic relationship. Because it wouldn't be, is it a bad thing if she left somebody that she didn't feel like she was supposed to be with? It would be like, she feels bad.
Because it was kind of funny. Yeah, it was kind of like,
I don't even want to be with him.
I feel bad because I told him, like, let's wait a couple years. And now the couple years have passed, I'm like, I actually want somebody completely
new nigga.
Like, I've just outgrown you in that time.
New nigga.
Or you've changed.
But we're not the same. Yeah, we're just not the
Yeah.
same people. And this nigga over here is much more my speed.
And I just feel bad because you probably actually waited those years or something.
He probably was cheating on her. Well, doing whatever he was doing anyway. He probably got like a baby on the way or something. So.
I hope not.
Well,
it's not always like that. It's not always like that. Okay, so what's your question? What's your outside of that question?
So, when is it a good time if you do leave a relationship? Do you ever think,
is it toxic
or just
a
like
regular relationship?
It's not necessarily toxic, but you know, like it's not good for you, or you know, you feel like y'all are on two different. Like when y'all broke up, you broke up because y'all were on two different levels. Because toxicity means different things to different people. You know,
Absolutely.
So toxic to me might just be like beating my ass every day, but for somebody else it mean like, you know, she's drinking my juice boxes.
Children.
I can't take
it.
But you know, like, so
no, don't drink my shit.
No. Funny story is, my roommate from college, we used to fight, like argue, because she would drink my juice boxes and
Why would you do that?
She would lie about it though, and then would just be like, just ask me for it. Like, it's fine if you have one. And I would just come home and there would be like 2 left, and I'd be like, did you drink it? She'd be like, nah, bitch, it's only us.
Nobody else live here.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that'll actually. Anyway, That's the toxic relationship that you needed to leave, for sure. For sure.
But no, so
she a liar, not because I'm actually fucking about it.
just going on.
Because more than anything, she lied. I don't like liars.
So, when is it ever acceptable to take back like an ex that you left because the relationship was just I'm not even gonna use the word toxic.
Yeah.
The relationship was just
Didn't work out.
Yeah, it just didn't work out, or you guys just had too many differences.
Yeah.
More differences than positive things. I don't know what the right words are.
Okay. I think I see what you're getting at. If I may go first, I would say that it is only okay to take an ex back after you've assessed very clearly your wants, your needs, your boundaries, and you have to do like a triple assessment, right? Mm-hmm. You have to say, here I am right now in 2018 of this month on this day, and this is what I like, this is what I don't like, these are my boundaries, these are my hard limits, and you have to assess the past enough to not be clouded by what that person is saying to you now. Mm-hmm. You have to at least assess and say, okay, I've grown into who I am right now. Is this stuff that I was already going through with this person back in the day? Because then that's going to be something that you have to like continue to have conversation about to make sure that person isn't still on that wavelength. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So you have to do an assessment of yourself and your boundaries and where you are now. You have to then assess the past situation that you already had with that person and if any of those things are in there. And then you have to have the conversations multiple over time with that person to make sure that y'all are now aligned.
Yeah.
And then it's okay. Because I don't think that just because somebody was a certain type of bad or so bad that you should feel like you can't take somebody back, because people change and people evolve. And you should give people the chance to do so.
Yeah, I think the reason that something ended in the first place is the main, I feel like, deciding factor on if like you should try again. Like there are certain things that I feel like, and this it's all for different people, but if it's a deal breaker, if it's something that in your mind you've always viewed as like a deal breaker that happened, and that's the reason why you broke up, then you should maintain that same idea, unless your deal breakers have changed. But if it's still the same, like you should keep that same energy and be like, no, that was a deal breaker. He broke it. Like the deal's gone. It's over.
Right,
and like,
right.
But if it's something that in hindsight, like say you've grown and you look back and be like, I really loved him and I broke up with him because I was young, I was immature, or like I just wasn't ready for a relationship, or neither of us were because we were so young. But now that we've matured, we could make this work. Then that's different. Then I feel like it makes sense to go back and try things out. But as far as your other question, we talked about when is it okay to let go, I think that it's important for everybody to know that it's always okay to let go. I think that at any given moment, unless you're married, maybe you should put a little extra thought, maybe a little extra thought into it, because you put extra thought into taking the step to get married. So but in a general sense, it's always okay to let go, and I feel like that's the main thing that humans have a problem with in general, is accepting the fact that it's okay to let go. Like, you feel bad, because especially if you want to let go and the other person doesn't. It's like you feel bad, especially if you feel like you don't even have a real reason to let go other than just the fact that you're not feeling it no more, or you've changed your mind, or you fell in love with somebody else. But it's way more harmful in the long run to yourself and others to stay in situations that you are no longer like wholeheartedly into.
If you think, what do you think, like, if you fell in love with like someone else while you were in a relationship, would you consider that like cheating?
No.
Well, what do you mean? Like, you didn't cheat with the person, like physically. You just emotionally
like are attached to them. Like, I'm trying to think of like a scenario. Like, maybe y'all.
I know a scenario.
Oh, okay.
No, I think about it in terms of like because I'm a musician and I feel like a very deep connection with creative people. So I hope this never happens, because that would just be ugly. But if I'm in a relationship with someone, and let's just say my band leader tells me like, oh, we're about to do backup for this new rapper I met, and so I'm in rehearsals with this person all the time, and I'm seeing somebody in their creative element, which from creative to another creative, that can be like a very sacred and vulnerable space. So I can find myself in a space where I'm like, oh my God, like I'm so enthralled with this person. I'm not cheating on my partner, but I might have to assess whether that's something that I pursue or something that I, that I have to look into because I feel so deeply about someone.
Now that's different because that's more so you fell in love off of
interaction,
observation. No,
Yeah.
I mean in a sense, but I do believe that emotional cheating is a real thing.
For sure.
If it's to the point where like you fell in love with this person because you're talking to them all the time, like y'all are on the phone all the time, like y'all are having lunches. You are, even if you're not flirting, but I just mean you're having real constant
connection,
physical and social like interaction, like that to me can be like considered cheating. It's emotional cheating because especially if you're not comfortable with telling your partner.
Anything
if you can't
that you
tell,
don't want to tell
like if you can't tell me, I've been on the phone with Sierra 10 times today. Like, and we talked like an hour each time, and tomorrow we're gonna go to lunch, and we're gonna go to lunch after that, the day after that. Like, if you can't say those things, then it's
probably cheating.
I used to have a coworker who I might have said this on here before, who would like flirt with one of my other coworkers, and then he would let her use his car, like to go get lunch. And I was like, he had a wife, and I was like, if your wife found out about this, you would probably be getting your ass whooped. You would be getting your ass whooped, and she would probably be getting her ass whooped because she knows you're married, number one, and just like, what are you doing? Like,
and even though he didn't kiss her or have sex with her, if he then fell in love with her based off of all that, he's cheated.
Yeah.
Even though men definitely don't.
No, they. Oh, you have to actually have.
No.
I didn't put my dick nowhere near her.
Man.
Nowhere near that bitch.
Man.
Anyway.
Yeah, they
Speaking of
wouldn't
which,
see kissing as cheating. They'd be like, it was just a kiss.
okay, so I don't want us to like divert too far from the original subject, but that has me thinking a lot about. Did y'all watch Insecure?
Yes.
Of course.
Okay, so let's just mosey down this really quick because I wrote a blog post about this and I was gonna dive deep into one specific sector of that show, but I just wanted to make it a little bit more about me, so I didn't do that. But what I had in mind was the Molly Dro situation. So if you don't watch Insecure, I'm really sorry, and I hope this isn't a spoiler. This is your spoiler alert. If you don't want to know what happened in the first episode of Insecure, turn it off. Just go. So anyway, we got our confirmation that Dro and his wife are in a seriously open relationship. He's not lying. There's no secret there. So then the thing turns, and I feel like when Molly like realized that, so like the camera kind of panned to her face, and that was her first time really realizing it because she was actually going through this like,
it ain't none of my
it's not my business. What they do is what they do. I'm not going to keep asking about it, which I feel her to a certain extent because I just found myself in a similar space. I'm not fucking with nobody's nigga, not nothing like that. But sometimes you're just like, you know what, I'm not going to ask about it. But that's really something that's like to coat your
safety.
And to coat like your ego too. Like you don't want to put yourself in harm's way, so you're just like, whatever, I know that I want to do this thing, I'm not gonna ask about it. But when she got that confirmation, something flipped in her, and I think, not to say that she wasn't thinking this already, but that's when she decided to have the conversation about boundaries, and like, we're either gonna be friends who don't fuck, or we're gonna be associates who do fuck. We're not gonna be dating, we're not gonna mud the water. But it's like, none of that was a problem until you knew for a fact that he is indeed in an open relationship. And so I think that it's really important for individuals to understand their boundaries, because something happens when like people make sense of things. Like, have you ever like been getting ready to argue with like somebody that you're dating, like kind of planning on it, like I'm gonna address this
in the shower,
and their response, when you finally get it out, their response like makes complete sense of the situation, and it's like frustrating. It's like, I don't want you to like make sense of this. I want you to understand that this is how I feel, and blah 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 blah. Like, that's how I felt Molly was going through, because she was just like, I now need boundaries, because now like I thought that I knew what this was and I don't,
And I feel like she also just kind of wanted some control, because she knew like she even said to him like, you get to fuck your wife and me with no problems, but what do I get? Like, she just needed to have some type of stability out of the whole situation, and she needed to be like,
and why is that? It's because you are a monogamous person, and that's not a bad thing. And that's the thing that I was talking about as far as like knowing your individual boundaries because he made sense of the situation. He told her, yes, this is what it is, and she was stumped by that. Okay, I don't know how to move forward, but it's because you don't want that for you, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I think that we get caught up in a situation that's like good, or like we perceive it as good, and it's like then you go further and further down the road, and it's like there's really nothing wrong here, but there is though. Like you feel it in your soul and in your gut that you don't want to do that. But that's what I was getting at as far as like when is it a good time to let go, when is it a good time to take back. Like it really is about what you feel in your mind and in your heart, because so many things make sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Like so many things make sense, but if it doesn't feel right to you, girl, then you don't need to be doing that.
Yeah, and that's
I would have fucking. But Dro, you can call for sure, for sure.
Yeah, no, and I feel like that, like.
Oh, I'm sorry. Before I forget, and his boundaries were clear. Well, as soon as she said, just because you and your wife situation is messy, he said, you don't fucking talk about my wife. His boundaries are very clear.
Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard that I'm all over the place. Me too. Don't bring my fucking wife up, girl.
When he treated her real quick, I was like, yeah, shut that shit down. Like, just because you're confused and you don't know what you want,
we got this.
We on the same
like,
page.
yeah, like I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm fucking you, and as I just told my wife, I'll be home in a minute. Like,
I was finna make you some pancakes, but you're tripping.
Like, if you don't want to do this, don't be a part of it.
Right, you gotta know yourself, know thyself.
Even though this season she seems way more ready for it.
I'm so sorry, Audra.
No, I probably would have forgotten anyway.
I'm sorry.
I have early onset Alzheimer's.
No, let's not.
She said no, it's true.
What's your next question about letting go? We got a few minutes.
What's it gonna be?
I can't pretend.
No. What other question did I have regarding this situation? Because I was gonna ask something else before we started talking about insecurity too, but I can't remember.
Did you write it down?
No,
Why didn't you write it down?
because it just came to me when we were sitting right here.
Oh, what did you learn?
Damn, I really forgot. I'm
Speaking
sorry,
of insecure,
y'all.
would any of you ladies ever live with an ex? Like, no, would you? Like, would you ever? Is there any ex that you feel like
Depends.
I can depend on this nigga? He got my back. So, and this is the situation is kosher enough where I could go live with him.
Right. So here's the thing. I think very highly of myself. So I'm thinking of it from the totally other way around. Would I allow an ex to live with me? Because I just don't think that I'm ever going to be in a situation where I'm like, damn, you really the only person I got. Because first of all, I was sleeping on your
Well, that's
couch,
not the
your
situation
couch,
that
your
she's
couch.
in.
I know. No, she's having like a prideful situation where because
Yeah.
she should and could go with Molly and she's
Or her
choosing not
brother.
to. She chose not to be with her
Anybody,
brother.
yeah.
All types of stuff. But I'm just saying, in a general sense, it wouldn't be me like knocking on this nigga's door. But would I let an ex live with me, considering the circumstances? Depends on the circumstances.
No, I would
And-
never let an ex live with me.
Oh,
Or
well-
live with an ex.
Well, since you said that you could, it depends on the circumstances. If they did live with you, would you be
Fucking while they there?
Yes. Like would you would continue doing you, like you wouldn't tiptoe.
I
around
think that
at
I would
all.
have a conversation.
or expect them to tiptoe.
Yeah, so I think that when someone enters someone's space, there's a lot of conversations that need to be had. Like, how long are you going to be here? What's the plan? Like, I'm helping you out. I want to help you. You're here rent free. But I need to know before I let you in here that you got a plan. You know exactly what your next move is going to be so that this isn't something that's permanent. Within that conversation, I think that it would be completely fair to let that person know, we're not together. My life has been looking like this, especially because I live alone. Like, Dan lives by himself. So he could have easily been like, this is what my day-to-day is like, and I'm not planning to stop that for you. So if you have any issues with that, let's be verbal about it so that we can find a compromise. Because at the end of the day, this is my house. And I wouldn't be as boating as Daniel was.
Yeah, he was wild.
But he did that on purpose. Like, he's doing that on purpose. So, and that's just like a male ego thing and a male like pride thing and like sensitive and all of that stuff. I would be woman enough to have that conversation, let them know like, yo, I fuck sometimes and I'm not gonna not fuck because you're here. But what we can do is compromise. You can let me know what your boundaries are around that. I can be quiet. Like, we can figure this out, though. I'm not going to stop my show for you, though, for sure.
I think that's why, like, I definitely could not live with an ex. Like, The only way, I mean, first of all, I just wouldn't want to. In
One of my exes,
general,
I'll be fucking him.
But
You'll be what?
Said if it was one of my exes, I'll be fucking him.
But if I did,
if you want to stay here,
this is rent. But if I did live with one of my
How much
exes,
you
it would
really
have
love
to be
your son?
somebody that I was like completely and 100%
Right.
over
Yeah.
and uninterested in, like to the point where he's no different than any Tom, Dick, and Harry like on the street. Because
Yeah.
if there is the smallest bit of attachment still or
Who the
anything
fuck?
there,
Not
not even
you, but
necessarily
I'm
that.
fucking.
Like it could
Not
still
you.
be clear in my mind that like I don't want to revisit this again. But I will be uncomfortable just because I'm not 100% over it. I would be uncomfortable seeing you with somebody else, and I would be uncomfortable having you seeing me with somebody else
Oh, okay.
because I'm not 100% over it. So
Right,
it's like
right,
I would
right.
need to be 100% over it so that life could carry on like as normal.
Right.
Because if not, whether we together or not, whether I'm not letting you fuck me or not, you better not bring no bitch up in here. Like,
not in
if
your
I
house.
got any-
That's another reason why I say it would never be me at their house, because
Right.
I wouldn't expect anybody to stop what they're doing because of me, and so I just wouldn't do that. Like I don't have to go to my mama's house.
And Issa is also a product of like
She plays
why-
games.
Yeah, when you don't speak your mind and you don't say what it really is and what your real feelings are, because Daniel is doing the type of shit that he's doing first, because half of he doesn't know what the fuck Issa's thinking.
Right.
Half of it is like he's legitimately confused. He doesn't know what's going on in her head.
Right.
And the other half is him. I feel like poking at her, trying to force it out of her.
Yeah.
Trying to and like so that's
Which is childish on
partially
everybody's part.
her
Yeah.
fault for not like just speaking.
Yeah.
Saying like how you feel or what this is and like what's going on, but she's with the whole like, no, we are friends.
Yeah.
Like nothing's happening here. So he's like, all right, friend, Bet. Don't come home tonight.
Ooh-wee. Aja?
Hi.
Nothing else? We done?
That's all we have today, folks.
Well, yeah, we would love to hear more from you and about whether or not you taking niggas back. What's up?
We have not not asked, but encouraged you guys to send in any dick pics lately.
Oh yeah, I'm in the mood. This is okay. If you know the answer to this, let me know, because I was gonna ask it the other day and I forgot. If you are a person who knows about 3D printers, what I think a 3D printer does is that you could take a one-dimensional image and print it to be 3D. Does it work for digital images? And if so, can we make dildos out of dick pics? Because I would like to.
I don't think you can do that.
Tell me why.
Well, this is just what I've known a 3D printer.
Yeah,
to
I don't
be.
know shit about them. So I wanna know.
You have something already, like you graph it like on a computer, the image, and then it's already known to be 3D already, like it's already three dimensional, and then it creates like the actual physical copy of it.
Got it. That makes more sense than what I was thinking. So, well, that solves that. But yes, we do encourage dick pics, I guess. I encourage all. I don't know. I feel a little shy about that now. Send them to Ajano Asia. Dick pics, all the
Yeah, I
other
don't
pics.
want them.
Well, you can send it to the Away with Words email.
Yeah.
because I have access to that.
Send them to
I'll
share it with
askawaywords@gmail.com. But don't flood it with that type of stuff. If you have actual questions, inquiries about us, what we do, business promotions, things like that.
Or
you can-
tell us what you want to hear us talk about.
Not don't ask. Yeah, do whatever you want. Ask askawaywords@gmail.com.
I have a question.
Okay, girl.
Why are you shy about getting dick pics now?
I don't want any. I just don't want any. I'm sorry.
You are not the person I thought you were.
Me neither. I'm not the person I thought I was either. Okay, and then continue to hit us up in our DMs, comment below, chime in. We love to hear from you. You can always follow us on all the places to be followed, like the Yamesh channel that you're on right now, probably, and make sure that you're subscribed to it and not just typing it in like a weirdo. You can follow us at Away with Words the Podcast on Tumblr and on Facebook and on Away with Words the Instagram. You can follow me at Read Our Stories on Instagram and follow me on _stories on Twitter, and I'm tweeting actively again. And you can follow at A-Tati on Instagram and at Hey Tati on Twitter. And you can follow at AjanoH at AjanoH everywhere. Yes, everywhere. And make sure that you're following at MJM Kid as well, because he has all the things that you need for all of your visual pleasures. Okay? And tune into the rest of the actual whole episode this week on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts if that's something that you're interested in. I wish I knew words. I don't.
I feel like you're running out of them. Like I feel like it's like the end of like gas. Like that's how I feel like it was like spitting them out. But that's how I felt. That's not how you sounded, but that's how I felt about it.
You
just
hurt
said that.
her feelings.
I did it, and I don't want the dick pics anymore because I can't
No.
share them with Bree.
No, you can share it.
It's only fun when you want them.
No, it's
I don't want to do it no more. I don't want to do it.
it's fun when you.
Everybody say bye.
Bye.